people today are weekly training, which is actually just a really basic training, except that every time
Recording in progress.
every time we do a basic training, we always cover a subject, along with the basic training, and the subject matter changes from week to week, so that we can give as much information as possible. Um, in the team that I've been working with, we've established for the past, I would say, 27 years, basically we teach people on a weekly basis, right, week to week, how to actually do this business. And a lot of people really take advantage of the trainings because it is during the training when you learn, a lot of different clues, but you don't really get to know how to do the business in the training. Where you learn how to do this business is actually in the practice of what you heard in the training. And that's what makes this very, very, very special. Oftentimes we have a lot of people that we actually work with, that we mentor, and they end up doing quite a bit right away. So they end up making money right away. They end up creating a team right away. They end up doing, a lot of different things right away. And that's only because they're practicing what they're learning during the training. So in the past years, that we have actually created and done this training, we've been very successful with a lot of people because it gives you a clue as to what you should do, where you should start and what you need to get started with right away. And that's pretty much what we're going to cover today. Today is going to be a little bit different. The week, last week, we covered information about the compensation plan, and then we did the basic training. The week before that, we covered information about the products, and then we did the basic training. So, this week we're going to go back to talking about, what we do, which is, recruiting, right? We do recruiting and selling, and we do two things. Those are the two things that we do, and that's what this segment today is going to be about. So I want to get to it right away. Let me just go ahead and bring this up so that you guys can see it. Okay. All right, so this is our agenda. This is what's on the agenda, which is our basic training. And let me see if I get the other one up. Okay. Benny, can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, and then what about that?
Which one? Let me open up wide. Yeah, I can see.
It should say a staircase.
No.
You don't see the staircase. Okay, all right, that's what I thought. Okay, good. Do you see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, good. Perfect. All right, very good. So I know exactly what to do. Great. So we're going to get started. So basically, our basic training is called a 5-step training. It's very simple. It's very basic. It's actually a training that covers exactly what to do next once you get started. So, our training is kind of like an orientation, similarly to when you go get a job. So you get a job, and then once they hire you, you come back the next day for an orientation. And during that orientation in that job is when they teach you what you're supposed to do, what you need to do next, what you have to work on, what are the things that you're going to be doing. So this is very similar. What we do is basically we teach everybody what's called a 5-step training program, in which it gives you information as to how you can actually run with your business. And today we're going to cover information regarding, of course, recruiting and selling, because that's all we do. That's really all we do. We recruit and sell all day long, and you're going to hear about that throughout this whole training. So the first thing we do when we actually get involved in our business here with Vitalhealth is step number 1, which is register, activate, and qualify. It's actually 3 things, but they're all kind of the same thing. But they're listed as 3 things because the 3 of them happen in different instances. For instance, the first one, which is actually the register one, the register happens in the beginning. So everybody can register, right? And the way that they register is very simple. The registration process is basically just for someone to purchase what's called a membership, right? And the membership is $29. Now, right now, at this very moment, we happen to have the membership for free. The membership right now is actually free for anyone if you get a code, and you get a code when you get the Elite Pack, because if you get the Elite Pack, they give you 10 free memberships. Excuse me one second. This is my son. It's probably an emergency. Okay, that was my son. I am so sorry. He got a flat tire. Okay, so as I was saying, you have an annual membership, and this actually happens once a month here in the United States. In Mexico, the membership is only required one time because that's the company where the company originated in the country of Mexico. So as a gift to the country, I guess there is no annual membership. In the US, it's an annual membership, but it's mostly because it is a requirement from the government. So it's a federal requirement. Now, when you get a membership with Vital Health, you're actively, I guess, able to pick up product and purchase product at 50% discount. And that's the big thing. So you can buy products from our company at a 50% discount anytime. You get high quality products, you get improved health and well-being. You also get to participate in our compensation plan. The compensation plan is actually a very, very magnanimous compensation plan. It has a lot of money paid out. So we covered the pay plan last week, and everybody was very happy with that. You also get a virtual store in which you get to sell to people through your own virtual store, any one of the products that the company offers, and you don't have to set up the store. You don't have to hire a programmer. You don't have to hire people to help you with that. The company does it for you already. Now, when somebody buys from your virtual store, the company collects the money, collects the shipping, collects the taxes, ships the product to the people, which means you don't have to have product on hand or in your house in a warehouse. The company sends the product, and then, of course, they collect the money. And when they collect the money, you get the product at 50% discount when the person that buys it at a full price, which means you get the difference. So that's actually a big deal because a lot of companies that offer you that opportunity, they charge you a lot of money, but this company doesn't. So it's actually something very special, to know that there's actually a way where you can send out a lot of emails and texts to people so that they can buy from you. And when they do, you get to make money from that. So that's basically all we do is just get the $29.99 membership. And then, of course, you get your own back office. With your own back office, what you're able to do then is actually you can now monitor your entire business, because once you have a business, you need to monitor who purchased, who didn't purchase, who's actually in your business, what are they actually doing, what are they working on, how many people they brought, what they purchased and things like that. You get all your accounting done by the company. You get a 1099 at the end of the year. And all of this is in your office, in your back office, right? Your own back office. And it's designed specifically so that you can actually lead in the front, and also so that you can be, the star in your own show. Your back office has everything in it. It also has a way for you to market your business. So you get all that for $29.95. So this is how you actually register. You actually get an annual membership first. Now, once you get the membership, now you're able to purchase product. So what I tell people is, instead of buying product, right, individually, one by one, you should just get a pack, because the pack offers you the opportunity to save a lot of money. By actually getting a pack, you get more product for the same amount of money that you would have paid. So the basic pack is $170, and you get about $181 worth of product, and that's a lot. And of course, you get more in product in the pack than if you would buy them individually at a 50% discount. So you still get more in a pack. The builder pack is a second one, which is $300. Of course, this one gives you about $380 worth of product. Where it says 330 here, that 30 is actually the $29 that you pay for the membership. And then the Pro Pack, it's actually $600, and you get about $841 worth of product. So you get much more product also on the Pro Pack. So you're better off just getting a pack. So if you're looking at some product specifically, something that you're dealing with, within your health, then of course you can actually choose the one that has those products that you need. The Pro Pack, I believe, has one of each of everything, and that actually is a steal. It's a very good price for a lot of things that you can use. And then, of course, the one that everybody's getting into is called the Elite Pack. The Elite Pack is a pack that you can actually buy that gives you access so that you can have 2 sets plus extras of all the products. Now, 2 complete sets. Now, each one of those sets, is a lot. By the way, you actually can get the first set and sell it. And then, of course, when you sell it at 100%, you can make back the money that you invested in this pack, which is kind of an interesting thing because when you buy this pack, which is $1,200, you get about $2,400 worth of product. I mean, you get a lot of product for the price of $1,200. So it actually makes more sense. Not just that, but your business is established. You get a lot of benefits. Right now, you get 10 free memberships, right, for people that you want to enroll. And you also get 10 free discounts of 25% off for any products for the people that you know that want to become your clients. So if anybody that you know wants to become a client, but they don't want to actually do the business, they can buy the product from you at the full price. And of course, you get to make, 50, 100% markup. But if you have these coupons where you can give them 25% discount, people say, you know what, I really want that discount. Let me buy from you. So you give them a discount coupon, and whatever they buy, in that month, they get a discount of 25% off, which is actually pretty nice. So you get 10 of those when you become an Elite Pack holder as well. So there's a lot of benefits to this. Not just that, when you actually have a purchase going on to qualify for a influencer bonus, you actually get to buy only 150 points and your influencer bonus activates. Usually everybody has to buy 200 points, which is more. And of course, then your influencer bonus activates and you can buy product at $5, $6, $8. But if you have an Elite Pack, you actually can activate that influencer bonus with only 150 points. So it's a pretty cool savings as well. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to having an Elite Pack. So there you go. Now you actually have, a pack, you registered, and of course, your first month when you register and you actually have a pack, you are registered, activated, and qualified. What that means is if you right away begin to work the business and you begin to work with people immediately, just because you got a pack, it doesn't matter if it's the small one or the big one, you are active and qualified as well. And what that means is you're active and qualified to make money. So if you bring one person, two persons, or three or four or five, and they buy product or actually buy a pack, you will get paid everything that comes to you because you're active and qualified on that first month. So that first month when you have a pack, you're active and qualified already. Now, on the following month, you must get active, and of course, you must also qualify so that you can continue to get a check. Now, how does that happen? So this is still step number one. You got to activate and qualify your position with your monthly purchase. So what that means is this. When you actually activate and qualify your position, and this is just an example here of what it looks like, you actually get, here it is on the bottom, you get to buy 50 points on your very first month, and you can be qualified for the position of bronze. So when you are a bronze in the company, right, you actually are a person that has 3 people that you brought personally to the company, and you have a 50-point purchase. So 1 month passes and you were active, qualified, and you had registered, right? The second month comes in, now you have to be active and qualified. And then, of course, the way that you activate yourself is by making your purchase. And what this says is the minimum is 50 points. And of course, the maximum is 100. Now, you want to move up to the next position, which is actually the position of silver, like it says right here. Then you got to have 100-point minimum purchase. And of course, that 100-point minimum purchase serves you all the way to the last position. The last position of the company requires 100 points. So if you actually have 100 points purchase, you can be silver and above. Any position that can come to you because of you're qualifying for it, you actually are ready to go because you have your 100-point purchase. The rest of the qualifications are simple. To become silver, you got to have three people with 2,500 points. To become a sapphire, you got to have the same three people with 5,000 points. And that's not your own points; it's the points of all the people below you. When you become car bonus qualified is when you become a gold. You get a car bonus when you become gold, but you have to have 10,000 points below you. But now you have to have four people. So you have four personals that you brought into the company. And of course, you got to have your 100-point purchase. That's why what you purchase on a monthly basis, the second month is very important. The first month, everybody is active, qualified, and registered. But the second month and above, you have to then make sure you always maintain an active status with your minimum purchase of 50 points or a maximum of 100. And basically, that's how you are active. And of course, you qualify by having at least two people. What that means to say is if you are in the business and you have two people, this is you right here, and these are your two people, then you are qualified. Now, you want to become bronze, you get a third person. So now you have one, two, three. So with three people, you become bronze, and you just have to have 2,000 points below them that have been acquired either through a purchase, through a pack, or through regular products. That's how simple this company has done it. It is a very easy qualification process. And we really enjoy the fact that it's very easy to qualify. The rest of the positions are just as easy as well. You just got to add one more person beyond gold and then move on from there. Each position requires one more personal individual. And of course, the point system, which is basically the purchases that are done of the packs or the purchases that are done of monthly purchase from different clients. So it's a very simple process of how you become qualified and, of course, registered and active. So you register, qualify, and activate your position, and then now you're in. So let me see if I can get rid of this here. Okay, good. So now that's you becoming registered, activated, and qualified. Now, the next thing we do is basically step number 2 is to become a product of the product. And I'm going really fast with this because we already did this last week and the week before. We did the compensation plan and the product segment. But the way that you become a product of the product is very simple. You basically have to know the product and you have to also use the product. And of course, you got to share the product. So how you know the product? Very simple. You just got to get your pack. When you get your pack in the mail, open it up and start using it right away. If it's coffee, like the one I have right here, just get to use it right away, open it up, and then serve yourself a cup and then taste it. And then now you're actually a product of the product. But what's best about this is that you get to actually pass it out and hand it out to different people that you know, so they can have an experience as well, just like you did, of what it is to actually use this product. The product is pretty miraculous. We have a system, right? And the system is very simple. That is basically to detoxify the body first, right? You do the tea plus vitamin, Organex, and Balance for the kidney, liver, and pancreas, along with the tea. And you detoxify those three vital organs and your stomach, large intestine, small intestine. And as you do that, you begin to feel completely different. Your body begins to shed a lot of pounds, right? You actually got rid of a lot of fecal matter in your stomach. You feel really light and you feel really good. You get more mental clarity and you have more energy. It's very amazing the way this works. Beyond that, then you actually pick some products that you want to use that you got in your pack that actually fortify, right, different areas of your body. It could be your immune system, it could be your musculoskeletal system, it could be your ventricle system, your blood. I mean, whatever you want, your heart. You just got to improve on that with the products that we offer. And of course, you want to share it with people. You want to share as much as you can. You want to talk to them about what it did for you, what it's done for the people that you know. When you use the product and you begin to get a testimony of your own, which is basically you using the product, and now you have a testimony that says, it worked for you, then you want to share it with everyone. And as you do that, you begin to grow in the business, because facts tell, stories sell. People go more based upon the stories that you tell them than the facts about the product. People don't want to know so much about the product, the facts about them, as much as they want to know is what it did for you. So you want to be able to do that. So you want to get to know the product, you want to get to share the product, and you also want to use the product immediately. So that's step number 2. And I'm going fast through this because I want to get to the point of why we're here today, which is basically step number 3. See, step number 3 is very simple because this is where you get to grow your business. Now, we always skip through this pretty fast because, we have a lot to talk about the product, and we have a lot to talk about the money, which is learning how to get paid. And we did that last week. But today we're going to focus on step number 3, and that's today's subject matter, really. And today's subject matter, I just want to share with you that every one of us was told the formula. And this formula was told to us a long time ago. It says work hard, save money, stay loyal, and be patient. You guys have already heard that, right? But you did. You actually did. You got there early, you stayed up late, you went to work, and then you waited, and then you waited, and then you waited. You were very patient. You did what people told you since you were little, right? But you don't realize, though, that you also went to school for about 12 years through high school, about 12 years, more or less, right? And what that cost for you basically is an opportunity for you to learn, right? A lot of different things. And then, of course, if you went to college, you used up another 4 years. But then if you got a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree, that's another 2 to 4 years on top of that. So you went to school for an average of 16 to 20 years. And that's a part of what we've been told since we were actually in school. And of course, you got out of school and then you got a job. And then you went to work for about 40 years. So you see, we graduate at the age of 25, and then for 40 years, we work really hard, right, to try to actually achieve something that everybody's looking for, which is actually called freedom, financial freedom, and just freedom alone, right? Free to do whatever you want to do, free to go wherever you want to go, free to have whatever you want to have. And unfortunately, you worked all those years, 40 years have passed, and then now you retire at the age of 65 so that you can get paid a third of what you used to get paid. And what's crazy is this, a third of what you used to get paid before today is actually less because, of course, inflation has gone up. And if you actually are saying, I get a third of what I used to get paid, well, when you used to get paid the whole entire amount, it was actually something. But now that third isn't very much because the inflation has brought it down. So it's more like maybe less than a third. So what do? Well, you're now 65 and you go get a job. I was just sharing a little while ago that this afternoon I was at Walmart, and guess what? Guess who greeted me at the front door? Yeah, some lady. She was an older lady. She must be between 60 and 65. And she said, "Hello, how are you? Would you like a little cart?" And I said, "No, no, thank you." So I ran in really quick and I got what I wanted to get, and then I came outside. But then I thought about it and I said, this is exactly what I want to be talking about today. A lot of people, even though they went to school, went to college, got a job, did the right thing, worked for 40 years, and did, whatever they were supposed to do, then they retired and they got this check, and with that check, it's not enough to make ends meet. Then, of course, now what do you have to do? You have to get a job, even after you retired. And it's actually crazy. It's actually crazy when I talk about this with people because, so many people that I know are really looking for something that they can do to make themselves some extra money. So when we talk about step number 3, that's actually the step that really gets to the meat of what we're supposed to be doing. Like as a network marketer, what we're supposed to be doing. What we have is an opportunity for each and every one of you. If you're new to this kind of an industry, this is called network marketing. Some of you might not be new. Some of you might have already heard about this industry. They call it network marketing, affiliate marketing. They call it, networking. There's so many different names for it, right? I basically call it a home-based business because that's exactly what it turns out to be. It's actually a side business for a lot of people. It's something that you can do on a daily basis that makes you extra money. and it makes you extra money on your own time, right? You don't require any college education for this industry. You don't require to speak English. If you speak very little English or English is your second language, it's okay. You don't require to be an expert in medicine, an expert in business, an expert in accounting. You can be somebody that just, got here from any other country. It doesn't really matter. In our industry, everybody has the opportunity to be successful. And during this step number 3, we always talk about what you have to do to actually make this happen. And then when we talk about it, we talk about the fact that you have to invite people that you know, right? Talk to the people that you know so that you can actually um, be able to recruit some people into your business to work with you. And that word sounds kind of cuckoo crazy. I know a lot of people don't like the word, but I love it. I love the word because you see, all we do on a daily basis is recruit and sell, recruit and sell, recruit and sell, recruit and sell, recruit and sell. That is all we do every day. Now, if you're doing this correctly and you're doing this the way it's supposed to be done, you're recruiting and you're selling. Who are you recruiting? People that would possibly like to actually work and make some extra money. Who are you selling to? People that are actually looking for something that can help them with whatever they're dealing with. That's all we do. And we do it every single day. So, like a job, right? We go to work. And of course, when we go to work every day, we actually produce for those companies. Okay. And this is something that I wanted to show all of you because it goes right along with what I'm talking about because it's not different than this. Okay. This is a training that I have set up that we actually were doing not too long ago, in which we were teaching people about how to become financially free, right? And I just wanted to show you this. This is something really cool. Um, in this training that we have, we actually were teaching people that most of you, and mostly all the people that they get a job so that way they can actually save some money, so that way they can then buy their first asset, whatever that happens to be. And usually they think it's a house, right? Or a car. And then, of course, they begin to think that, okay, that asset that they purchase can possibly get them into some cash flow. Unfortunately, an asset, if you're a house, if you're living in it, is not an asset, but a lot of people, they do this. They have a job and then they trade time for money, right? But when you have an asset makes you money while you sleep, which is totally different. So an asset could be anything. It could be a house, it could be a business, and this is a business. So our business of Vital Health is a business. So wherever you see the word asset, I want you to imagine Vital Health. So if you have a job, you trade time for money. If you have Vital Health, money will be made while you sleep. Doesn't that sound cool? That actually sounds pretty cool. As a matter of fact, most people, they actually start the month, they go to work, and then they make a paycheck. And then when they make the paycheck, as soon as the paycheck comes into their hands, they have to pay some bills. They have to pay the rent, they have to pay the car, they have to buy the food. And then at the end of the month, what's left over? Nothing. Usually, sometimes you owe more month than you do the money that you have. It's a crazy way to say it, but it's true, right? In the month, there's so many expenses that you end up owing at the end of the month. So, we just want to let you know that the way that other people do it is a little bit different. And this is call them the rich because it doesn't have to be a rich person. It could just be somebody that knows they know something that you don't. But let's call it the rich. So the rich people, what do? They buy monthly cash flow or they buy assets. In this case, if you're looking at this for the very first time and you're thinking about taking this on as a serious venture, okay, I want you to know that that pack that you purchased, whether it's 170, 300, 600, or the 1,200, you just bought your own business. It's an asset and it's going to bring you cash flow, right? And then, of course, this shows people examples of many different businesses because I've done this training before. Businesses like rentals, the businesses that provide you dividends, which is like stocks and bonds and things like that, or different kinds of assets like homes or apartments, But you know, a business is also an asset, and this Vital Health business is your business. And if you bought it for 170, 300, 600, or 1,200, you have your own business, which you purchased. Now, this business is going to make you money while you sleep. Isn't that cool? That's actually a really cool thought, you know, and I wanted to share that with you because there's a lot of people that I work with and that I talk to, and I try to share that with them and really have them see the beauty behind what we're doing. Because all you have to do is get serious with this in such a way in which you actually are going to do the steps. And then, of course, you're going to do the practice of what you're required to do. Because, like a job, you have to do this. You see what I mean? The problem is you're the boss, but you're also the worker. So you can go to yourself, go to your mirror and look at yourself and say, self, I'm going to take a day off today. Okay, you're the boss. Go ahead and take a day off. You have the ability to do that. That's the problem. You know, you can go to the mirror and look at yourself and say, you know what, self, I'm going to take a 2 hour lunch break. And you say, okay, go ahead and take a 2 hour lunch break. You know, and then you can also say to yourself a lot of other crazy things like, you know, I don't want to make any calls today. Whatever that may be, you're going to excuse yourself because it's your own business. You see, and that's the difference between a job and a business. In a job, you have somebody writing you, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. In your own business, you're the one that has to do that. You know, you're the motivation. You're the one that has to push yourself and make yourself do things that you're supposed to do that are being taught to you, and that way you can become successful. Unfortunately, you know, we tend to be too nice with ourselves. So unlike a job, this is your business, right? And of course, the purpose of being in business is for you to make money. So what are we supposed to do? Well, very simple. I said it already. We do two things. We recruit and we sell. So let's cover the first one. Let's cover the first one. The first one is selling, right? So for you to sell and you want to offer our products to people, I want you to actually write this down, okay? You want to actually ask a very magical question, okay? We call it the $1 million question, right? And the question is very simple. The question is, who do you know? Who do you know? And the who do you know on that question can be who do you know on many different areas, right? About many different things. Uh, One is going to be about who do you know that wants to make money. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But the one we're going to cover right now is this. And if you have a pencil and a paper, please write this down because this will open up for you a view as to what you should be asking some of the people that you talk to. Because you see, the key to our business is asking the right questions. Because when the people hear you and they answer you, then of course you get an idea of what you need to say next. But the question primarily is going to be the first one is who do you know? And in terms of the product and when you want to sell, who do you know that has an illness? That's a good question. Who do you know that has a condition that they're dealing with? Or you could also be talking to someone, you know, who do you know that has this disease or that disease? Or if you're talking to someone, you could say, who do you know that has a discomfort of XYZ? If you are familiar with that person and you happen to know what they may be dealing with. Who do you know that has a medical condition of blah, blah, blah? You see, those questions actually open up a door for you to know exactly what that person is dealing with. So the question of who do you know is really important. And along the side of the illness, along that area, it could be about so many different things. So I want you to write some of these down. Who do you know that has diabetes, high blood pressure? Who do you know that has gout? Who do you know that has asthma? Who do you know that has fibromyalgia? Who do you know that has lupus? Who do you know that might have tumors? Who do you know that might have cysts? Who do you know that might have cancer? Who do you know that might be going through menopause? Or who do you know that might be going through andropause? Now, andropause is for the men. A lot of men are going through it. Guys, let me tell you, I'm already 62, but some guys at 55 and above, they're going through andropause like you have no clue. And that's why there's so many commercials right now on television, on Facebook, on YouTube, and all over the place regarding male products, right? And male enhancements. A lot of what they're calling erectile dysfunction. I mean, all these things are issues for men, and they have to deal with the andropause, which is similar to the women's menopause. But the men are not going to talk about that. The men are going to have that as a private thing or as a very, secretive thing that they don't want to share because, us men, we're macho. We don't want to tell anybody that we're dealing with stuff. We should. We'll live longer. Statistics show that women live longer than men all over the world in every country because women tend to share more about what they're dealing with, and they even talk to doctors, and doctors offer opinions and assistance, and of course they become better. Men keep it a secret. So who do you know that has andropause, menopause? Who do you know that has low testosterone? If you're writing these down, you actually can get that a lot of people that you talk to are going to offer some information regarding that because they might know someone or they might be living with someone that may be going through some of this. Who do you know that has low energy? Who do you know that has no energy? Who do you know that wants to lose weight? That's a big one. Who do you know that wants to lose weight? The weight one is a huge one. I mean, there's a lot of people that you might know that really are looking for a good weight loss product. Who do you know that has skin issues? Well, who do you know that has skin problems? There's people that have issues with their skin. There's different kinds of problems with the skin, and there's different kinds of things that show up that are embarrassing, and if the person does a proper detox, in many cases, that can take care of it because a lot of those viruses and different kinds of worms and different things that are in your stomach, all right, a lot of little critters, they're the ones causing on the outside the rashes and different issues with your skin. I'm not going to get into that right now, but that's a big one. Who do you know that has stomach issues, that's constipated, that has constipation, or that has acid reflux, that, when they eat, they don't feel comfortable, because, there's a lot of acid going on in their esophagus and their stomach. Who do you know that has, I would say, pain, all kinds of pain, back pain, headaches, leg pain, muscle pain, any pain that you can think of? I just gave you a clue as to many different things that you can actually bring up and talk about with a lot of people because those are the ones that are going to become your clients. So if you're talking to people that you know, then you can ask these questions. Who do you know? And then blah, blah, blah. You got to say whatever it is that's there because there's people that you personally know that you can actually tell them, right? Are you or do you know anyone that has this issue? And now I want to share with you how that works. And by the way, who do you know that's badly nourished? That's a big one. So just to give you an idea, when we talk about step number 3, we talk about your hot market, your warm market, and your cold market, where we say you need to call the people that are on your phone or on your contact lists, on your Rolodex, or the people that you have in a little black book. You need to call everybody that you know, and you need to let them know that you started your own business and you opened up a business that you're very happy and excited about because it helps a lot of people. You're part of a movement in health and wellness, which is actually going to help a lot of people. And then let's say you're talking to an uncle or an auntie, okay, just to give you an example. You happen to know that your uncle or your auntie is dealing with diabetes. You already know that. But you make that call, right? And they're a hot market. They're like somebody that loves you tremendously. But you don't want to come at them directly. As a matter of fact, you don't want to come at anyone directly because people, when you tend to ask them a direct question to them, they tend to actually say, no, 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 not me. No, no, I don't need it. No, 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 I don't want it. No, no, no. That's just human nature. But if you're talking to your auntie or your uncle and you say something like, hey, auntie, who do you know that has diabetes? The business that I'm starting is a really great company that has a lot of solutions, especially for diabetes. Who do you know that we can help with diabetes, auntie? And then she's going to say, me. And then you say, okay, yeah, I know you have that, but who else do you know, auntie, that might have diabetes? Because, if somebody's diabetic, guess who they know? They know somebody else that's diabetic, right? If somebody has high blood pressure, guess who they know? They know somebody else with high blood pressure. I mean, they do because they're always talking about it. And then people pop up and say, hey, yeah, I have that too. So if you actually ask the question to your auntie, who do you know that has high blood pressure? Who do you know that has diabetes? She'll say, yeah, I know someone. Well, no, no, and auntie, I know you do, but I know you have it, but who else do you know? And then your auntie might say, well, you know what? Your your auntie so and so and your uncle so and so, he has diabetes. And you know what? A friend of mine from church has diabetes, and this other person has diabetes. And as you're talking to your auntie, you might want to write those names down because here's the thing. Now you say to your auntie, Auntie, you said you also have diabetes, correct? Yes, I do. Okay, great. Listen, I want to come by your house and I want to test you because we have a scanner that can test you for many different areas, 45 different areas in your body that can show you how else you're doing in different parts. But because you have diabetes, it can also show you how that's going and it shows it to you in colors. That's one thing you can say. Or you can also say, listen, Auntie, I'm going to come by your house tomorrow and I want to bring this product because I want you to try it. I want you to check it out and I want to give you information as to how it works because this product for diabetes is actually something that you get to take within the first portion of the system, which is to detoxify. And you have to detoxify first, but you do it with the balance, and that's for diabetes. But I want to come by your house. Can I come by tomorrow and show it to you? And then that person may say, yes, of course, because it's a hot market. It's somebody that loves you, it's somebody that really wants to work with you and help you and make sure that you're always okay. But if you ask the question this way, you didn't come at her directly. You just said, who do you know? Who do you know? Because it's not like me, like, do you have diabetes? It's not like that. It's like, who do you know? And then she's bringing up all these other people. And here's the main reason why that works. Because once you actually then talk to your auntie in person and you're there and you're saying, well, this product does this and this and this and this. This is the system. This is part of the detox, right? So the balance is here. You can take this. It's going to help you with your diabetes and all this. And of course, auntie, you need to get a pack because you can save a lot of money by getting a pack. You can get a small pack for 170, or you can get the middle one, which has more products for that detox area, which is the tea, the vitamin, and the Organex and the balance. So whichever pack that is, then you offer it to her. Okay. And then once you do that, then you say, okay, Auntie, guess what? Not only are you going to be able to take your product at 50% discount, and I'm also going to give you a free membership because, of course, I have an elite pack and I can give you a free membership. So not only are you going to get a free membership, but you're also going to get your products and you're going to get to start to take them. But guess what? You're also a part of the business because every person that is a member of the company, which I'm giving you a membership, is able to make money. And your auntie might say, hey, that's great. I want to make some extra money. Cool. Auntie, do you remember that yesterday you said that your friend from church also has diabetes and our uncle so and so has diabetes? And then that other lady that you know that lives next door to you also has. Remember those three people that you said they have diabetes? And she'll say, yeah, yeah, I mentioned those to you. Perfect. Those are the people we want to talk to so that you can make some money. And then your aunt is going to say, really? Okay, great. Let's go talk to them. Because you see, that's a perfect opportunity for that person to give validation to their pack. Because now you are giving them a way that they can use those names so that they can be helped with their condition, but also so that she can make some money. And then what do you do with each one of those people? The very same thing. You and auntie get on the phone and you call those people and you say, hi, you know what? My auntie just started a brand new business. It's called Vitalhealth, and I'm working with her right now, and she's doing really great. She's trying our products. She's trying the one for diabetes. And guess what? I asked her if she knew anybody that had diabetes, and she mentioned your name. And of course, your name came up as somebody that has probably the same thing that she has, and we'd like to come over and visit you. So you put your auntie on the line, and then of course they talk to each other and say, hey, we'll come by tomorrow so we can show you this product. Great. That's basically how this works. And it just balloons from there. This is all we do. And this is how you get to sell the product. Let's say auntie said, listen, I don't really want to get involved and I don't mind buying the product from you. I love you. I'm your auntie. I will buy it from you every single month. If it works for my diabetes, I'll buy it from you. Guess what? You have a client. You have a client for life. She doesn't have to, be a member or a rep of the company that's going to do the business. She can just be your client. And by the way, if she got the $29, membership, she's going to get a discounted price every single month. So all you have to do for your auntie is actually put her on an automatic purchase. So every month she gets her 30-day use of the product for the diabetes. So you got one person. That's one client. Could you imagine? This is how easy this is. It's how simple our business is. And this is why this step number three is so vital because we can actually go after all the people that we know that have issues with their health. right? Health and wellness. If you ask all these questions correctly, who do you know that has this illness, this illness, this illness, this illness, this illness? A lot of other people are going to show up because if you think about it, Auntie's church is huge, and you just talk to her about who do you know that has diabetes. But what if you ask her now, who do you know that has asthma? Who do you know that has high blood pressure? Who do you know that has gout? Who do you know that might be dealing with cancer? Who do you know that might be dealing with this other issue? And she'll say, oh, well, this lady at church, and this gentleman at church, and this, and the deacon, and the pastor. And then you have a lot of people that she knows that are dealing with something. So what do? You don't change a thing. Very same thing. You and your auntie call that person and say, hi, how are you? My name is so and so. My auntie and I are together. And guess what? You go to the same church, right? Yes, we do. Okay, you know what? I asked her, who do you know that has high blood pressure? And she said, a friend of mine from church does. And she mentioned your name, and she's here right now with me. And by the way, I want you to say hello to her. So you put your auntie on the line, they say hello to each other and say, listen, we have a solution for you for your high blood pressure. When can we meet? Can we come by your house? Can we come by the church? What can we do? And then, of course, now you have another person for your auntie. So your goal is to make auntie a check because when auntie makes a check, you make 50% of her check. That's how easy this is. This is something very simple. We don't want to overly complicate this business. This is a very simple, easy business. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. If you just got started and you've been with us for maybe a few days or a few weeks or a few months, just know that all we do is two things. We recruit and sell. That's it. Right now, we're just basically touching on the area of selling, right? Because it's the same thing on the recruiting. As you're going to be able to tell and notice, we don't change a thing. We don't change a thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We don't change anything. It's the same thing. Because you see, once you begin to actually practice with the people that are dealing with a medical issue, because that is kind of simple. Somebody's got a medical issue and they want it. They want to have an alleviation for that. They want something to help them with that. It's a little bit different than finding somebody to do the business. We're going to go over that right now. I said it's a little different. I didn't say it's hard. It's easy too, but it's a little different. But when it comes to the product, this is what we do. This is all we do. And that question basically is a great question. It's a who do you know question is important because the person that you have on your phone that you're going to call, right, is somebody that knows you and loves you and cares about you. It's your hot market. Now, your warm market is similar. They're not like the hot market because the hot market is they'll do anything for you. The warm market is somebody that's warm to you. They know you, they know who you are, and they'll do, you know, things for you because they know you, but they're not going to do them like a hot market person would say, like in the case of like my mom, whenever I used to call her and say, Mom, I got a business that I got started with. I want you to get started. My mom would say, you know what, sign me up. Don't worry about it. I don't want to hear about what it's about. Just sign me up. Whatever you say, son, sign me up. My mom trusted me 100%. And she made a lot of money because I always put her first. So I always put my sister and my mom, and they made a lot of money because they were my first in every company. And by the way, they loved it because they made a lot of cash. But, they knew that if I called them about something, it was something great. So they would just say, sign me up. But a warm market person is a person that wants more information. So they might say, it's maybe a distant uncle. And that distant uncle is a warm market because, you don't really get along, but he's your uncle. And uncle might say, okay, yeah, I'm your uncle. Yeah, you know what? I want to hear what's about. What do you got? Well, uncle, I just want to know, who do you know that might be dealing with either high blood pressure, with diabetes, gout, fibromyalgia, any kind of illness, people that you're close to, who do you know? The company that I work with has a lot of things, a lot of products that work with a lot of different things in the body. And of course, it helps people in many different ways. Your uncle might say, well, you know what? I have high blood pressure. Yes, yes, uncle, I know you do, but who else do you know? You see, you always want to do that because you don't want to come at them straight directly. Because people, when you do that, they shy away. They tend to back off and say, what, you coming after me? Something like that. When you say, yes, yes, I know you do, but who do you know? That lets them know that you're not after them, you're after everybody else. And if they can only help you with that contact, it will do great service to you. And a lot of people want to help in their own way in your success. So if you say, yes, yes, uncle, I know you have high blood pressure, but who else do you know? And then get ready because he's going to start to spill out some names. And he might be like, yeah, you know what? I also go to church and I know this guy, he sits next to me all the time. He has a high blood pressure and this other person has it too. And then I know this other guy that has asthma. And then they're going to go down the line telling you all kinds of names and, different people. What you have to do is you have to write it down because they're not going to remember what they said to you, but you can if you write it down and then the next day you go meet with your uncle, say, listen, uncle, I would like to come by your house and I would like to show you a product that we have for high blood pressure. It's called Nitro. It helps you with the heart. It's a product that has a award-winning, it won the Nobel Prize back in 1996 with a doctor named Louis Donato. And this particular product helps people with high blood pressure and with the heart. Can I come by and bring it to you at your house so you can see it? I also want to talk to you a little bit about the company so you can check out what we're doing. I'm really excited. I just got started and I would like for you to actually listen to me for a little bit. And this is an uncle that's your warm market. He's not like a hot market. So he might say to you, you know what? Yes, yes, come by the house. I want to hear about it, especially if it's for the diabetes, especially if it's going to help me. Come by and then they'll give you the time of day. So then when you go there, it's going to be something like, okay, uh, now, uncle, remember that person you talked to me about? That person that you said had XYZ and had this issue and that issue? And then your uncle's going to say, yes, I do. Okay. Well, guess what? You know what, uncle? I really need your help. Let's talk to that person that you said that you knew. So that's basically how the business goes with him because he's your warm market. Okay. It's just like the hot market. And then after you finish with that, then you say, uncle, let's call this person. Let's call that person. You said something about this guy that goes to your church and this person and that person. And then now, because they know all these people, you can also say, uncle, guess what? You're going to make some money because this company actually helps people and it helps people make money. And you're going to be able to make money now because you're giving me all these contacts. And then your uncle is going to be like, oh, really? That's really nice. So he goes from being your warm market to being your hot market because he loves you. I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. It just goes from there, and this is so simple. We've been teaching all of this for so many years that it just works all the time, right? And if you do this on a daily basis, you get to build your business on a daily basis. But when you do build your business on a daily basis by selling this, right, you actually are able to make a monthly income because you're actually providing for yourself something that's going to give you a monthly residual. Because now you have your auntie buying from you. You have your uncle on auto ship also buying from you. Remember, you got to put your people on auto ship because the more you put them on auto ship, the better it is for them. Because when they buy on auto ship, right, they're going to get their product every month for the monthly use of the product that they need. So they'll be able to use their product and they're happy because they're dealing with high blood pressure. They're dealing with diabetes and you're making sure that on an automatic shipment, they're receiving the product every month, right? When you do that, you just created what's called a passive income. It's called a residual. So let me show you, let me go back to this particular screen that I showed you earlier. All right. Because see, now you got business. Okay. Now you have an asset, which is your Vitalhealth business that while you're sleeping, you're making money. As a matter of fact, now you just got a Vitalhealth business, which is going to create a monthly cash flow. Just like any one of these other businesses, when you buy a building, you can rent it or you can use it for many different purposes. When you buy a business, you make money from it every single day. When you buy stocks, they give you dividends, right? And then of course, assets. This business is your asset. Because if you're not doing that and you're just working, so how does it look like during the month when you go to work, right? Monday through Sunday. Monday you work, Tuesday you work, Wednesday you work, Thursday you work, Friday you work, Saturday you recover, Sunday you recover. But when you have your business, you're building your business, you're building your business, your Wednesday you're building your business, Thursday you're building your business, Friday you're building your business. On Saturday and Sunday you scale up your business, but you also live. You live it up. Why? Because you're able to actually now create for yourself the life that you want. Because see, with your uncle and your aunt, you got started, and then of course now they're going to introduce you to all their friends, and their friends are going to introduce you to all their friends, and their friends are going to introduce you to all their friends, and so on and so on and so on. And as long as you're using this formula and you talk to them and you say, who do you know? Who do you know that has this and this and this and this issue? They're going to say, yeah, I know this person, I know this person, I know that person, but I do too. Perfect. We're going to sign you up. But let's just talk about these people. Where do you know them from? Do you know them from church? Do you know them from work? Do you know them from the park? Where do you know them from? And they're going to share with you information. And then once you have that information, then you go to that person's house and you sign them up, or you sign them up by phone. You're gonna get so good at this that you don't have to visit as many people. You can just do this by phone. But in the beginning, it's good to actually be there in person because you get to see the impact of what you're creating in someone's life. So when you build it on a daily basis, like I just showed you on that slide, you get to now make a weekly and a monthly income with limitless potential based on our compensation plan, right? So you're building what's called a residual income, an income that's going to come to you month after month after month after month, because that person that you put on auto ship is going to be buying it month after month after month after month. The ones that are buying for diabetes, it worked perfectly for them. They're going to keep buying balance and maybe a few other things. The one that wanted the nitro for the high blood pressure is going to keep buying nitro and then maybe some other things. The one person that wants to buy something for their immune system because it's really low or they have an issue with tumors or cancer or whatever, they're going to buy a lot of other different products and they're going to buy it monthly. So you put them on auto ship and then month after month after month, when they make their purchases, the company pays you. If it's your first level, 10% commission, second level, 10% commission, third level, 20% commission. And then from the fourth level and beyond, it pays you between 2 to 14%. So now you get to see how you are actually making the money and on a monthly basis, how you're building a monthly residual. Because if you're able to do what I just said, and then just like I'm doing right now, you teach this to other people that you're working with, oh my God, this is just endless. It grows everywhere. Like we're doing this right here, right now. I'm in California. You are where you are. Some of you are in Las Vegas. Some of you are in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, in Florida. Some of you are here in California. You are where you are, right? And you're actually doing the business with us right now. You have probably people on this call so they can learn how to do this business. But imagine when it begins to grow and take its own form and get bigger and bigger and bigger. You're now creating a residual income for yourself. But the people that you bring are creating a residual income as well. Just like your auntie is not going to make money because she invited you to go see some other friends. And just like your uncle, he's going to make money because he invited you to go see some other friends. And then those friends invited you to see some of their friends. And of course, these friends of your uncle are going to make money. And these friends of the friends of your uncle are going to make money. And these friends are the friends of the friends. You know what I mean? It's like everybody makes money too. It's not like one person makes money. Everybody makes money because there's a system. Our company has a payout plan that basically pays everyone. You know, some people even call this industry not network marketing, but they call it multi-level. Why? Because we're paid on multiple levels. We're paid on different levels, that we get to be in. So I hope you guys got that part because that is what we do when we recruit and sell. And right now we're just covering the one about the selling. And what we're selling basically is our product, right? Our product that we offer to people. Now, we also sell something else, right? And as you can already tell, we sell freedom. And you saw the word freedom on the slide on this different training that I was showing you that we created a long time ago for assets. People are looking for freedom. So we're going to talk a little bit about that because when you recruit and sell, you're selling the product. When you're recruiting people to do the business. But understand that in our company, a client that buys the product can also do the business, just like your auntie and your uncle brought friends as well, right? But they were actually brought into the business through the product because they need the product. There's a lot of people that you might know that consider themselves healthy or healthy enough to where they don't need to be buying product, but guess what? They need the money. They really need an opportunity. And there's some people that have issues with their health and they need the money. To them, the priority is let me get some money and then I can get better. I hope that makes sense because you have to do both things. You have to recruit people to do the business, but then you also have to sell the product. And then along the way, while you're selling the product, you get people that are there that are going to introduce you to others that want to buy the product too. So they're going to make money as well. So in essence, you're going to make money anyway. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you, whether you're recruiting or selling all the time. Now, the thing is this, when it comes to the product, okay, that's basically what you have to apply in terms of knowledge. When it comes to the business opportunity, it's a little bit different, right? But we're going to apply the same steps. That's basically what I'm saying. So the magical $1 million question is very similar. Who do you know? Okay, I hope you're writing this down because, although some of you are getting sneaky like Benny, he's recording me. That's okay. I don't mind being recorded. If you hear something crazy or cuckoo about curing or things like that, just erase that part because we don't cure things. We help people and nourish them back to health. But, if you're listening to this, right, please write it down because a lot of people learn different ways. Some people are auditory, they learn by listening. Some people actually are writing because when they write, they learn. Some people are visual because when they see things, they learn. Today you're seeing, and I hope you're writing as well, because this is really important. The $1 million question for the flip side of the coin, which is the recruiting, it's actually who do you know? That's the question too. Except you got to ask it like this. Who do you know that's sick and tired of being sick and tired? Write that down. Who do you know that's sick and tired of being sick and tired? Just sick and tired. Like I'm just sick and tired of just doing the same thing every single day. And if you talk to people and you ask them that question, they might even sigh when they repeat it. Like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired. And there's people that are. As I said earlier, some people are in this country not because they want to, but because they have to. Because if they had the money, they would gladly go back home. I love going to Colombia. It's a beautiful, beautiful city where I go. It's called Medellin. It's actually a lot of flowers everywhere. It's just one of the most beautiful cities. You have to go see it one time. I'm going to get to go this weekend to Haiti. I'm excited about it. I want to see the countryside. I want to purposely drive from Haiti to Dominican Republic because I want to see all that green. I want to see it. I want to see the green. And I want to be there for a little bit, but I want to go to work. But what I'm saying is, I take pride and joy in going to different places and just getting to know different places, and knowing that all the people there are looking for the same thing. People are just sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're sick and tired of working, doing the same thing every single day and not getting ahead. As I was mentioning to you earlier, a lot of us have worked, for so many years. You go to school for 18 years, 20 years, 24 years, and then you graduate and then you actually get a job and you work for 40 years. And then you're like, okay, I'm working, but what am I doing? Every month I end up with less money, but I have more bills. And every time I go out and buy something, the prices go up. And then every time that I actually make money, I think I've already overspent and I don't even have my check in my hand. I'm just sick and tired of this. So the $1 million question for building your business, right, which is the part that we're going to be talking about now, which is how to actually build a team, build a group of people that are going to be out there working. Those are the folks that you want to look for. You got to ask them, who do you know that's sick and tired of being sick and tired? That person might say, me. Just like your uncle or your auntie that said, yeah, I have diabetes. You say, yes, yes, yes. I know you were probably sick and tired of being sick and tired, but who else do you know of being sick and tired and just they want to do something different? Oh, yeah, I have a friend that is also really tired of working or working, or I have another friend of mine, she's just really like completely done. She wants to just start a business. She wants to do something. Oh, and I have this other person. That's the question that you have to ask. But like I said, don't come at people directly because when you come at them directly, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Do you want to make some extra money? The person might be like, no, 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 wait a minute, no, 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 no. But if you actually say, who do you know that is sick and tired of being sick and tired and they would like to make some extra money? Or who do you know that is looking for a change in careers? I mean, who do you know that's looking for something new? Write that one down. Who do you know that's looking for a change in careers? And who do you know that's looking for to do something new? Right? Who do you know that wants to get out of the rat race. Because you've heard that term, rat race. A lot of people use it all the time. Life is a rat race. You're just constantly, spinning your wheels. You're racing like a rat in a little hamster wheel, and you're running and running and running and you're running in the same place. You're not going anywhere. You're just running. There's people that actually view their life like that. If you were able to bring that question up to them, they'll be like, that's me. I'm spinning and running in circles. I'm tired of that. Yes, yes, I know you are. But who else do you know that's just tired of the rat race? Oh, I have a friend of mine, and I know this person, and I know that person. The other question would be, who do you know that is a housewife looking for an opportunity? So this question can be posed to a man or a woman because everybody knows a lady that is a housewife that might be looking for her first opportunity. You know, this is a very sensitive area for me. And I got to tell you, you guys have seen me cry in my trainings and you've seen me cry in my presentations because, I have a tremendous love for my mother. What she did for us is just remarkable. My father died. He brought us to this country. And then, of course, my mom took over back in 1970. She actually raised 10 kids by herself. I'm the last. I'm the last of all the kids. And she came here with a second grade education. She didn't really go beyond the second grade. My father, he actually met her at 15 and got her pregnant at 16. It was that quick. And then, of course, my mom had 10 babies. My mom was beautiful. She had 10 kids, and I'm the last one. And the crazy thing is, my mom needed an opportunity. She needed someone to help her. Because when my father died, she brought us to this country, 10 kids in a brand new country, and she was working, as a seamstress. She was making $110 a week. This is a long time ago, but what I'm saying to you is this, how many moms do you know that have that similar situation? Are you one of those moms? That was my mom. My mom did miraculous things to raise us, But one thing I remember, she worked really hard. She worked as a seamstress, and then she started working for a company called Stanley. And then she sold with her friends some cleaning products. They were just soaps. But Stanley did well back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then, of course, my mom got involved in a company called Shackley because another friend of hers told her about Shackley. And then, of course, then she got involved later on in a company called Princess House. So why I'm telling you this story is because this question is a very sensitive question. Because the question is, who do you know that is a housewife that is looking for an opportunity that would like to get ahead? There's so many women out there that don't have anybody to help them. And I really do have an affinity for women that want to get ahead and want to do something, but they just don't know how. And this business is for them because you don't require any education for doing this. You don't require a college degree. You don't require, special skills in like language or reading or anything like that, or even mathematics. You don't have to require anything. Just you want to just work and help with people. And the curiosity behind this question is that there are so many women that are looking for someone to give them an opportunity. When my sister got divorced, this is quite a while ago, when she got divorced from her first husband, I went to visit her and she was crying. My sister was 27, 28, 29. I was a teenager. And my sister said to me, I said, why are you crying? Because she used to always feed us when we went to her house. She said, I'm crying because I don't know how to pay these bills. I said, just pay them. She says, I don't know how. My husband left me a month ago and I don't know what I'm doing. She says, I have to pay the rent and I don't know how to do it. I said, what do you mean? She says, how do you write down 1,200? Did you guys hear that? It was amazing. When I heard that, I was looking at my sister and I said, you don't know how to make a check? She said, no. I was a little kid. But even I knew how to write a check. I've seen my mom do it all the time. I said, come here. So I sat my sister down and I taught her how to write on her check 1,200 so she can pay her rent. And then I made a book, on a piece of paper on a book, I wrote, 100, 200, 300. And I said, when you want to pay something, copy this. So I wrote her how to write down all these numbers. Guys, this is no joke. I'm not kidding you. there is women out there that are very professional, that have college degrees and a super education. They have tremendous futures because they've done so much and they're in the rat race and they're working very hard. And you know what? They're sick and tired of being sick and tired and they want to do something and make some extra money. There's a lot of women like that. But then there's also a lot of women that, like my mom, went to the second grade, got pregnant, fell in love, and had a lot of babies. And now they're in this country and times are rough and they want to do something. So that is a really cool question, because that person might say, you know what, I'm one of those women. Okay, that's great, but who else do you know? Well, guess what? Housewives know what? A bunch of other housewives. So if I may give you guys some advice, especially the men that are listening to me, men, you want to have a lot of women in your business. Please, the more women you have in your business, the more successful you're going to become because women are loyal, they're hardworking. Women are actually going to learn as much as they can and do things the way that they're being instructed to do them, so that they can make things happen all the time. It's just crazy. A lot of us men are very rebellious and we do things the way we want to do them, but women are a little different. So if you want to make a lot of money, guys, get a lot of women because they really, really get to work right away. So that question is a loaded question, as you can already tell. Or who do you know that is a husband that is looking for a side job, that is looking for a side hustle, for a business, or something that they can do to make some extra money? Who do you know that is a husband that is looking for a side job or a side hustle or a business that would like to make some extra money? There's a lot of husbands the same way. There's a lot of men out there, super educated, highly educated, professional people. But then there's also some men that, they need an opportunity. You want to actually ask those questions and don't ask it directly. Are you one of these people? Just say, who do you know? Because they're going to know a lot of people. And then when you write down the names of who they know, then you say, well, come here, let me talk to you about this business. This is an opportunity where you can make some extra money. And I want to put you on a call so that you can listen to the Zoom. It's on a Wednesday. It's going to teach you about the product, but it's going to talk about how we get paid. Wait for that. And once you do, please let me know because I want to get you started right away. You already know people just like you that need to make some extra money. So we're going to talk to them later. But first, listen to my Zoom. It's that simple. It's that simple. And then, of course, the next question is, who do you know that is looking for a part-time job or something to do on a part-time basis? You see, I'm giving you guys some really key clues because when you're talking to people, you might not have the right verbiage to be able to get out of them what you want. And I'm giving you these hints so that you can start writing them down. Because when you ask someone, who do you know that is looking for an extra job or for a part-time job or something on the side that they can make some extra money? And why we mention part-time job is because there's people that are working right now because they have to make ends meet right now, but they're willing to take on something else on a part-time basis. And if it makes sense, they'll do it. But it is your responsibility to ask them now, who do you know? And then ask them all these questions because that person that wants a part-time job is looking for some money when? Tomorrow. So you have to ask them all these questions because in their mind, they're going to say, oh, yeah, I know my cousin. She's looking for a change. I know my sister. She's actually a housewife, but she wants to make some extra money. Okay, I know a friend from church. She's looking for a part-time job too. I know, and then you got to help that person write down all those names, all those names, all those names. Because you and that person that's looking for a part-time something are going to be calling them right away. Because that person needs to make money when? Right away. And if they can actually get them involved as soon as possible, that'll be great. Could you imagine if that person says, yeah, I'm looking for a part-time job, but who do you know? Who else do you know that needs a part-time something to make some extra money? Oh, I know all these people that want to find something on the side. Okay, great. Give me all their names. And you start writing them down and you help them with those people. Now, what if those people that person introduced you to buy the, $1,200 pack? That's $270 for him. What if another person that person knows buys the $600 pack? That's $135 for him. That's already right there, almost $400. And if that person was able to do that in 1 day or 2 days, that you helped them when they went to go and do a presentation for the people that he knows, could you imagine? That person's looking for a part-time job and they were able to make $400 in 2 days just by talking to people that he knows. That person's gonna be like, wow, this is cool. This is better than a part-time job. This is great. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and I'm gonna talk to my friends at work and see which one of them needs what we have. That's the beauty of our business is if you're on it like this is how it begins to flourish. Because then the other question on the who do you know is this. Who do you know that's looking to get trained in a business because they want that business mindset? That's a big one. Because there's a lot of people right now looking at YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all these other social media websites for advice. They're looking for someone to teach them how they can make some extra money. They're looking for someone to show them what they can do to make cash or to make, extra money. And they're looking for someone to teach them the business mindset. Well, if what I'm teaching you today isn't business mindset-y enough, I don't know what is. Because you see, let me go back to this little thing here because see, this is what's going to bake your noodle. Tonight, you're going to really think about your life because this is really going to drive you crazy. I want to show you this because this is really important. Okay. I was teaching this training for a while, and this training is actually very long, by the way. But, this is actually what people are looking for, financial freedom. Okay. Most of the people have a job, then they actually make a savings with the money that they make in their job only to buy an asset. So that asset can then give them some cash flow so that later on they can have some freedom. That's how it works. Most of the people are with their job first to try to make savings. But see, that can take a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. You have that savings, and then what happens? Boom, your car tire explodes. Now you got to go buy some new tires. Then later on, boom, somebody crashes you behind your car. Now you got to pay extra money for the guy that fixes the car and you got to talk to the insurance. You have some extra money in savings and boom, your daughter or your son says, Dad, Mom, I got to buy something for school and I got to go get this and there goes your savings. So people do not reach that point where they can buy that first asset, you see. And then if they do, the asset becomes something that they have to pay every single month because people think that a house is an asset. The house is only an asset if you're renting it. If you're actually living in it, is a liability. So they're paying every month this liability. And then they're looking for cash flow, but there is no cash flow because you're the one that's living there. So what happens? You go back and trade time for, a job, you go back and trade time for money, right? And you're really looking to get ahead, but you can't because you're paying all these bills. After you get your paycheck, you're paying your rent, your car, and your food, and you're left every month with nothing. When what you should be doing is, buy some cash flow. How do you get cash flow? Well, you buy a business or you buy an asset. It could be a business, it could be a rental, it could be a dividend, but you can't have any of these unless you have the money to buy them. So, what am I actually telling you? Very simple. Join Vitalhealth. Join our business. Get involved with us. Let us teach you how to make some extra money with this business. There's so many people making very good income in Vitalhealth. On a monthly basis, their residuals are growing and growing and growing. What if it takes a year for you to make $2,000 to $3,000 per week in Vitalhealth? What if it takes 2 years? And every week you make $2,000 to $3,000 extra, but it took you 2 years. Now, you still have your job, and in your job, which up until today, you've been able to pay for all your bills and things like that. But now you have this thing called Vitalhealth, and between a year to a year and a half or 2 years, you're making $2,000 to $3,000 extra every week, which you can put away. And every week that you put it away, you can now go and buy an asset, such as a house or buy stocks or dividends or whatever it is that's out there. You see, and this is what I tell people all the time. And what some people don't understand is that everybody wants that. Everybody wants to do something with their life and make money and get ahead. The thing is, they don't have a vehicle to get there. That's why all these places in TikTok, Yahoo, YouTube, Facebook, all these places that you go social media, they all want to teach you this bottom part right here. The last one I just showed you is that business mindset. So you ask the question, who do you know that's looking to get trained in a business mindset and to really get ahead in life? And that would like to have something that can get them that business mindset and get them those businesses that they want. And then some person might say, hey, I do. I know a lot of people. I have guys that are, with me, sending me all these videos about, how to make money in the United States and, how to actually get ahead and all these business mindset videos. Okay, great. Can we meet those guys? Sure. These are my friends. And I know this guy, this guy, I know this lady, this lady. They're all, looking to do something positive in their life. Great. Bring them here because this company, Vitalhealth, can help them make some extra money. And while they do that, they can then use that money to go and buy other businesses, which is what they really want, which is actually a business mindset to create another business. Because you can buy a business and have that business make you money and then take that money and buy another business. And now these two businesses that you have can make you money, and then you take that money and buy another business. But you're not going to get there unless you have that extra money. Vitalhealth can get you that extra money. So the question of who do you know that's looking to get trained in the business mindset, the answer is right there. Come work with us. We'll help you. We'll teach you. And along the way, you get to listen to this guy named David Gonzalez. He's got a really cool advice for you. And then every month, every week, they'll teach you and train you on how this business is done. And you can actually make some extra money. It's that simple. Guys, I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. All I'm emphasizing is that this is easier than we thought. Okay, all we have to do is get to work, get busy. You see, this is network marketing with the emphasis on the middle part, which it says work. We have to do it. We have to get to work. Every day, we have to get to work. Today, I've been sitting in this chair, doing so many different things. And, I've been working and calling and talking to people. And then now I'm right here doing this training. But this is a very familiar space for me. I'm in my house. This is my dining room, and I feel very comfortable, because I'm in the house and I'm working and I'm here, but I've been here working all day. I don't have to go to an office. But if you find yourself in our business and you're not doing something to advance your business, then you're not working it. So I'm not chastising you. I'm just actually pointing out something very important. You need to get to work. It's called network marketing. And all our work is two things: recruit and sell. And like I said, we sell to people that are clients, and we already showed you a lot of the questions for the clients. And then we actually recruit those people that want to make some extra money. So recruiting sounds kind of cuckoo, and we're going to talk about that now. Because you see, we're talking about this right here, right? The hot market, the warm market, and the cold market. And when you talk about recruiting, it can kind of feel like the army, right? So like, you're getting recruited to go into the army. And it sounds very detrimental sometimes when you say you got to recruit people. Well, not really. It kind of sounds like that, but it isn't. It's actually a little more easy than that. Okay. When you actually are with us and you're looking and working on recruiting, 7 o'clock, Diego. It can be very, very simple. As a matter of fact, recruiting is nothing more than, and please write this down, enrolling someone in believing in themselves and that they can do something and be a part of. That's basically all we're doing. We are enrolling them in the fact that they can believe in themselves. This is very powerful, guys, because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe they can do this. Why isn't everybody in this planet rich? I just gave you the answer. Because they don't believe that they can be. It's not designed like that. It's designed in the contrary. It's designed and made for us to fail. It's designed for a lot of people to be on the bottom. Remember what I said weeks ago. 97% of the people, right? If you look at a pyramid, 97% is the bottom part, right? 97% of the people work for 3% of the people, right? And 3% of the people actually is a very small number compared to the 97%. But then there's that 1% that control everything. That's the design. And it's nobody's fault. It's just the way it is. There's no complaining about it. All you have to do is just take action. Break out of that 97% and begin to move up. What does it take for you to become a part of the 5%? I'm going to give you that number right now. If you want to be a part of the 5%, which is the top part of the pyramid, it's very simple. It just takes $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month, and you're now officially in the 5% of the top. $20,000 a month. So you have to find yourself a way to make that. Vitalhealth can provide that to you. We've shown you in a presentation there's people making $79,000 to $189,000 a month. But we never talk about that there's hundreds, if not thousands of people right now making between $10,000 to $20,000 a month in this company in 4 years. There's a lot of people making that kind of money in this company right now. But $20,000 a month gets you into that 5%. Just 20,000. Now think about this for a minute. If you have $1 million right now in your hands and you put it in the bank, that $1 million will pay you 5%, which is 4,000. $4,000 a month. You're not even in the 5% yet. When I'm talking about $20,000 a month, which is what you can get paid here in this company, if you actually got to work and created a nice business out of it, right? It's actually puts you in the 5% range. So what I'm actually trying to tell you with that is basically you need to see that this is a great business. It can be a huge business for you, and it can actually get you ahead in like no time at all. You just have to put into practice what I'm saying. In other words, you have to recruit and sell. Now, you're not going to go out there and recruit people and try to treat it like the army forcefully. No, we're more, I would say, a little bit more stylish than that, right? You actually get to, in a very elegant way, talk to people and enroll them in that they can do something to help themselves and help a whole bunch of other people in a movement, right? To become a part of a movement. And that's something that people will actually join. I always talk to people about this. Vital Health is a movement. I've had so many testimonies come to me this past week. I'm just amazed by the number of people that are improving many different areas of their life and their body specifically. And it just makes me so happy to know that I'm a part of that, right? So you can enroll people in being a part of someone's improvement in their body, where you can create a business that you can only dream of if you actually help a lot of people. So you're enrolling people in that possibility. You are enrolling people in the opportunity that they can actually get out there and be a part of a movement of health and wellness, and they can actually save some people's lives. You can enroll people in that. You can actually talk to them about how they can actually do it. Enroll them in the possibility of them saving someone's life. We had a very big testimony this past week about someone that had, I believe it was cancer, and they were able to actually get rid of it. And it's been already a year since this person's been taking our products. And of course, the question was asked because someone was asking us about how did that person do it with the leukemia. So I had to make a call to someone, and I put someone on the phone with that person so they can share with that person how they got rid of the leukemia in the tests that was done at the hospital. And then that person's just so grateful that we were able to introduce them to this because they've been looking for an opportunity to help them with their health. So we're able to save that person. That's what you're enrolling other people in. You're actually enrolling people in creating themselves, into a great human being that can help others, both making money, but also getting better, right? And then, of course, in a company that's going to give you training, that's going to help you by training you and is going to teach you. And of course, where you get to become a part of a team, because I'm not in this alone. I'm here with a whole bunch of other people on this call right now that are willing to help you and teach you and train you as well. The consistency that we have here on a weekly basis on Wednesday and Thursday is incredible. I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking for consistency, and I'm looking for desire. And I want to make sure that those folks that are on this call every single week, I get to back them up 100%, and they back me up and they back others up as well, so that we can all help teach and train the new people, but then also help them teach and train the ones that they know. So that's what you got involved with, and that's what you're a part of right now, right? We're a team. We're all stand together, and we're all here to actually affect the entire world, because we're not just in the US, we're also in South America, Mexico, Central America, now, of course, in Europe, and of course, very soon in Africa, right? So in this business, you don't have to convince anyone. You really don't. There is no convincing. So you might want to just write this down. All you have to do is this. You want to touch, move, and inspire the person that you're going to be talking to, because you're going to recruit that person into your business so they can do this business with you. We already talked about the people that are looking for health. Now let's talk about the people that want to make some money. You want to touch, move, and inspire them. But the way you touch, move, and inspire both the people that want their health and, of course, that want to make money is you want to touch, move, and inspire them with your story. So write this down. Facts tell, stories sell. The facts about the product, the facts about the money, the facts about different things about the company, all those things tell. But the stories that you can tell about it, those are the ones that sell. If you can then remember your own story, when you started, how it was, what you did, and then what you made and how you're doing now, that story will sell. If you share it like that with your friends and your family members and people that you know, that story would sell all the time. I got started in this company about 6 months ago. When I got started, I didn't know much, but I started learning and training. And then after that, I started talking to people that I know. I got a lot of folks involved. We have several different testimonies of different people that tried the product and they actually liked it. So then they introduced me to others. And now I'm started to make money in the company and my income is such, and I'm doing really well. People like that. People like that story, and it doesn't matter how much it is. Facts tell, your stories will sell. So, and the stories sell all the time. Telling somebody your story is not enough though. Telling someone your story is cool, but after you told them the story and showed them the presentation and the pay plan as to how the company pays, asking is what sells. Telling them the story motivates them, but asking them to buy it, that's what sells. A lot of people forget. So please write that down if you want to. You know, telling ain't selling. Asking is. Telling people a story isn't selling. Although the stories sell, right? But telling them the story enough isn't selling. Asking them to buy it, that's what sells. Ask them, would you like to get the $170 pack or would you like the 300? Which products are you looking for? If this is somebody that wants to do the business and they're not dealing with any issues in their body, just tell them, we have four different packs. I would suggest you're looking to do the business, you start with the $1,200 pack because that one gets you all the benefits. It gets you 10 free memberships. It gets you 10 discounts at 25% for future purchases of your clients. It gets you more benefits when you actually get an influencer bonus. So you need the $1,200 pack. And that person may say to you, hey, I'm looking to do the business. I'm not looking, to actually use the product too much because I'm healthy. And you say, perfect. You need the product to do the business because we're going to go look for unhealthy people. These are the folks you get to sell your product to so that you can make money. You're looking to do the business, right? Yes. Okay. Then you need the $1,200 pack. Well, I don't have $1,200. How many of us have heard that? Well, you're looking to do a business. You're looking to make some extra money because you want to get trained in business mindset. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're a man that's looking for an extra job, right? You're looking for something that's part-time because you have a job during the day and you're looking to change your career in the future, but you also want to actually get out of the rat race. You see all those questions that I asked? That's what you want to let them know. You're looking for this and now you found it. And you're telling me that you're going to be stopped by $1,200? Well, I don't have it right now. Okay, let me tell you this. What if I was to tell you, and let's say that person's name is Mike. Mike, next week, we're going to go to Las Vegas. I'm going to take you. Mike, I'm going to pay for your hotel, and I'm going to personally drive you there. All you have to do is come to my house, and we'll drive together. From my house to Las Vegas, it takes 3 hours. Don't worry. The hotel is paid for, and so is the transportation. When we get there, you're gonna have a lot of fun, Mike. Would you like to go? I'm pretty sure he's gonna say, yeah, I want to go. Okay, Mike, can you please find $1,200 so that you can have fun in Vegas while you're there and maybe gamble on a couple of machines or maybe a couple of tables and maybe we're gonna go out and eat a couple of places. So bring $1,200 so you can enjoy yourself. What do you think you can do? What do you think Mike's gonna do? He's got a free ride over there and a free hotel. He's going to run all over the place and call his uncle, call his aunt, call his brother, call his cousin, call his sister. Hey, I need 500, I need 300, I need 200. I'll pay you back later. He finds $1,200 and he goes with me to Vegas. Come on now. You're looking to do a business. You want to get started and create something for yourself and you can't find $1,200. And with that pack, you have all the benefits and you get to now starting the company to make your own money by selling that same product to other people. If you guys don't talk like this to people, believe me, if you don't talk like this to people, people will not take you for being serious. Because some people need to hear the reality behind things. Because some people really do need the $1,200 pack right this minute. And right now there's a special going on. They even get a free machine of $300. The free scanner comes with that $1,200 pack. So if my guy I'm talking to, he says, I don't have the $1,200, I'm going to say that to him. I can also say this, listen, Mike, you're sick. You're very sick. As a matter of fact, you're going to die. And if you don't do something about what you have, you're probably going to die within a week or two. But listen, Mike, there's this pill that if you take it right now, you're going to live. And this pill costs $1,200. You think Mike's going to go find that $1,200? Of course, because he wants to live. And then you say to Mike like this, Mike, you know what this pill is going to do? It's going to cure you. But guess what that illness is called? It's called poverty. You see, we believe what is in our minds, and in our minds we have a scarcity mindset. $1,200 is going to seem like something so huge because we have a scarcity mindset. I want to teach you how to have a business mindset, Mike. Get rid of that. Buy the pill that's going to go against all that poverty. Let's help you make some money. Go find $1,200. Go try to see if you can borrow it from people that you know. Why am I saying this, guys? This is very important. When my wife and I were doing the business, and I'm not talking about this business, I'm talking about a previous business, I showed her that we can make money selling coffee with Ganoderma. This is back in 2008, 2009. We were broke. We didn't have any money. I showed her the business. She went and talked to her sister. And she told her sister, I want you to become my partner in this business. Do me a favor and let me borrow $1,200. Her sister said, okay. So her sister gave her $1,200, and then my wife bought the big pack in that company. Actually, that back then it was $1,000. And my sister-in-law later actually joined the business under my wife, and then they both started working the business as well. To make a long story short, I got in the business first, and then my wife did it that way because she didn't have any money. And then in about 9 months, because we know what we're doing, okay, we do this for a living, but we were broke back then. In 9 months, we were making $60,000 a month. In 9 months. And I remember clearly, and we talk about this all the time, we were in bed about to go to sleep, and then we were looking at each other, and I told her, honey, this month we just made $60,000. She said, I know. And it's between the two of us because she has her own business and I have my own business. So we both have separate businesses, but together we made $60,000. I said, honey, we made $60,000. She said, I know. She said, thank God. She says, I'm so happy. But if it wasn't for my sister-in-law that let her borrow the $1,200, we wouldn't be there 6 months later saying that. Guys, there's a lot of people that you know that are going to tell you, I don't have the $1,200. Don't let that be the excuse for them not to get ahead, especially if you're recruiting them to do this business. There's much more important things, than money out there, which is the reason why they have to find a way to get it, because it's going to help them make more money and create more opportunity for themselves and for many other people in their life. So I'm about to finish this because this is really fast. There's 3 kinds of prospecting that you have to do when you do the recruiting, okay? Number 1 is you're prospecting for friends and family. You're prospecting in these 3 levels. The first level is this one. Write this down, please. Practice prospect with your friends and family members. You're prospecting with people that you know, right? Like friends and family. That's very simple. Church members, people in your church, people in your neighborhood. As you walk around your neighborhood, take a walk around your neighborhood. Walk your dog and look at all the houses. In a block of 20, 30 houses, 80% of those people are dealing with high blood pressure or diabetes. Believe me, you got business. You just don't know it, but you got business. You're probably too prideful to go knock on the door and say, "Hi, my name is David. I live 3 blocks down. Hi, my name is David. I live across the street. Can I talk to you for a minute?" Sure, you're my neighbor. I see you at the mailbox all the time. Yes. Listen, I would like to talk to you because I just got involved in a business and we just got started. Our company is really good and it has to deal with health and wellness. Do you by any chance know anybody that's dealing with any illness like diabetes, high blood pressure, blah, 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 blah? That person might say, "Yeah, me, I have diabetes." Great. You know what? We have an awesome product that's really good for that. It helps you. Is there any way that we can make an appointment so I can come back and talk to you later? I mean, that's your neighborhood. How many people around your neighborhood need our product? That's a given. Your churches. If you ain't talking to people in your church, instead of chit-chatting about a whole bunch of other stuff, talk to them about your business, then I don't know what's going on. You know, I know my church, when I was singing in the choir, we had to go visit other churches because we had to go sing in other churches. Your church and then other churches, because we all know each other in our community, right? Parks and recreation. This is still level 1, by the way. Parks and recreation. How many of you guys go to parks? There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people that are sick right there. Sports. If you have kids, if they do football, baseball, basketball, soccer, all those parents, half of them have issues. Some of them are on a walker. Guys, wake up. This is the real deal right here. People that are walking the dog near your house. If you walk your dog, they're walking their dog and you see them limping. Hey, is there a problem? Are you dealing with any kind of a pain issue? Yeah, my back hurts, my knee hurts, my leg hurts. Perfect. I have a product called Vitalhealth. I work with this company and they have really good products. Really? It's gonna get rid of your pain in 30 minutes if you take 2. No way. Yes. People that are walking their dog. People at the supermarket. How many of you go to the supermarket? You could be standing in a supermarket line, checkout counter, and all you have to do is look at the person in front of you and smile and say hi. But we don't do that. We go to the supermarket, we get on the counter to check out, and then, of course, there's people in front of us, there's people behind us, and then what do? We look up. We don't even say hello to the people next to us. We got to stop doing that. We got to start smiling and saying hi. And then the next thing is, "My name is," and then say your name. And then, "Listen, I'm glad to have met you. I live here in this area. What do you do for a living? You have kids?" Yeah. Stuff like that. For that, you want to use this. Please write this down. It's called FORM. 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 The F stands for family. People love to talk about their family and how they're doing and how many kids they have and if they have a bunch of them and how bad they are and how cuckoo crazy they get sometimes. The O stands for occupation. People love to talk about what they do and how often they do it, and where they work and all that stuff. Occupation. The R stands for recreation. Whether or not they've gone to recreate themselves, whether they're gone on a vacation or taking some time off, people love to talk about that. So what did you do on the last holiday? What are you going to do for the 4th of July? Recreation. 4-day holidays. They have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday holidays, right? And the last one, M, or form, FORM. The last one, M, is money. People love to talk about the fact that whether they have it or they love to talk about the fact whether they don't. So use form when you talk to that first level. That's your first level of recruiting or your, prospecting for people. And then, of course, the second one is actually where you get to go look for those people that are, scoutable, where you can scout talent, right? Meaning to say, you got to keep an ear out opened and your eyes wide open and your ear like that, just listening. Because if you go to a really nice restaurant, have you ever been to a really nice restaurant, or not a nice restaurant, but a restaurant where you feel really good one day and somebody treats you nicely? And that gentleman or that young lady, she came in and said hello to you. She treated you very nicely, or he treated you very cordially, very nicely. And at the end, it made you feel good. And you're like, I want to give this guy 20%, tip. This was a very nice service. Have you ever had that kind of service? Well, guess what? I'm looking for those people. So this is the second level. is you want to actually look for people that have given you great service. Look for people that are in sales, in stores, right? People that are in restaurants, people in public, in schools, people that service others. You want to look for those people because they have the knack, they have the talent, they have the wherewithal to help somebody and to make them feel good. I've stolen waitresses before from restaurants, and I've literally told them, listen, my company is looking for people like you. Here's my wife. She's right next to me. Can I please have your number? Because we need you. We need people with your attitude, with your personality. What you did today to me, basically, if you did it in our business, you can make a lot of money. And guess what? We've gotten numbers from waitresses that are very good at, waitressing, or people that work in hotels, in restaurants, people that work in public places, in schools. What's the persons that are really good at this are teachers. As you can tell, I'm teaching you right now. If you can find somebody that's good at teaching, they are good at this business. So now you go from a prospector to what's called a scout, like a talent scout. There's a story to be told about that, but I want to get into it though. There is a lot to be said about being a talent scout. You can literally find good talent, kind of like a basketball player, football player, baseball player. Scouts look for them, and when they find them, they sign them up and they become their agents. Anyway, you want to look for people like that, people that are really good at what they do, that have good attitude, the good salespeople. When you go to Macy's, when you go to J.C. Penney, when you go to different stores, if there's people that are treating you very well, they need to hear this. Also, good salesmen, people that sell houses, just talk to them because they're already in the people business. They already know what to do. Very talented people. That's that second level, right? That's that second tier. The third level of prospecting you want to do is you want to find experts. Now, we're going to end on this one, okay? But this one is a powerful one. You want to find some experts. Now, you've practiced with your friends, you've practiced with your warm market, your hot market, your family, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts, your mom, your dad, people that love you. And then you went out on the streets and you start talking to your neighbors, the people across the street, the people below you, the people that live next door. And then you went out in the in the world and you started talking to people in the restaurants, you started talking to people in the supermarkets, at the park, at the football, baseball, basketball game. You did all that. And it's great. And you're feeling really confident and cool. Now it's time for you to actually step up your game on this level number 3 and talk to some experts. What did I mean by that? Well, you know, like the story of the scout, right? That actually found, I would say, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant. I mean, all these professional basketball players were found by someone, but that someone was looking for someone that was in that area of basketball because they're scouts looking for just professional basketball players. But they found that talent. They signed them up and brought them to their company. You're going to do the same thing, except you're going to do it with people that are already in this industry. Network marketing, affiliate marketing, multi-level, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of people that are already doing this. With these people that are already doing this kind of business, you're not going to have a hard time. They're already fully trained. Some of them might even be able to teach me something. Some of these people already know a lot of what to do, so it cuts your work in half. These are the folks that are going to tell you, thank you for bringing me. Now step aside, and then boom, they bring a huge leg of people. Or another one on this side, you sign them up and they'll say, thank you for bringing me, step aside. And then boom, they bring a lot of other people. Now you're on top because you brought 2 really good people and they're making money, and you're making more money. So, but these folks have experience and you get to bring them, right? So, you want to be able to find someone, right, that that has already done this because you want to teach them what we're doing by comparison to what they're doing and see if they find something that they can do with this. There are some people that are tired of where they're at. There are some people that their time has come, they need to move on. There are some people that are being oppressed by leaders that don't want them to come up. There are some people that are just tired of the product that doesn't really do what they say. There's some people that haven't gotten paid enough by the company because their pay plan is very limited. There's some people that are in a company where there's a lot of strife and problems and issues, and they're not a team and they're always fighting. Here we're all a team. We're all work together. and we love everybody. So, this is a very big difference. So if you find somebody that has already done this kind of industry, that is your tier number three, level three of recruiting. And this is something that I've always taught for the past 20 years. You want to find somebody, and if you already know them, or if you know someone, please ask everybody that you know this question. Do you know someone that has done Avon, Amway, Monavi, Noni, People's Tax Network, Prepaid Legal, Organo Gold, Gano Excel, Gano Life, TLC, Total Life Changes, Atome, Herbalife, Vida Divina, Artis, Natura, Primerica, Mary Kay, Melaleuca, Rimon, which is a company that sells products for the face, Legal Shield, Chackley. You know anybody that's worked in ACN? How about anybody that's done OmniLife, LifeWave? You need to go out there and talk to everybody that you know and ask them, and not just these companies that I mentioned, but there's just so many out there. If you want to know how many there are, just go to the internet, go to Google and type in MLM or network marketing companies and type in top 100 if you want to, or the top 1,000. And it'll give you all the names of all the companies that are out there. There's so many, but there's so many people that are just sick and tired of those companies because they've tried it and it didn't work. And so guess what? Sometimes a leader from another company that was suppressed by someone else would like to become a top leader in another. If you're blessed and God gives you the opportunity to meet someone that has done any one of these companies or maybe different ones, it's going to go great for you because that person already knows what to do. They already have the knack for this. They've already done it before. They already know who to talk to, what to say. In some cases, you might find a leader that will bring you hundreds of people in one day. Now, what does that do to your paycheck? And these are hundreds of people with experience, by the way. So let me tell you, you're sitting on a powder keg. This is about to blow up. This is about to blow up because the problem with what I just said is this. When enough people in Vitalhealth in North America, here in the United States, start going after people that have experience, those people with experience are going to see the potential that there is here, the money that is paid, and the products really do work. It's just a matter of time before, boom, it just goes huge. All of a sudden, now you have hundreds of thousands of people in Vitalhealth in a very short time, and you're going to ask yourself, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I go talk to that lady across the street? She does Amway. Why didn't I go talk to that man over there that's Herbalife? Why didn't I talk to my cousin who was part of Artis and she was selling all these girdles and now she's not selling those girdles anymore because the girdle company went under? But she has the experience and somebody else recruited her. Why didn't I go after my friend that's selling this Vita Divina coffee, which is so expensive and doesn't really do much, but our coffee is really good. But that person got recruited by someone else. Why didn't I go after them? You need to think like that because if you don't, and this is going to continue and we're going to begin to grow and grow and grow, somebody else will go after those people that that might possibly be already in these companies or was in some of these companies and has all the experience in the world and can really make a big difference for you in your organization. Guys, I know you just heard a lot. I'm gonna stop right here because I can continue all night long. Those people that know me know that I can. But the reality is this. I mean, I'm just so excited and happy for you because I know that you're in the right company. The company is actually with the greatest products that I have ever tasted in my life. I mean, I'm feeling youthful. I'm feeling great, energetic. I'm back in the gym. I've lost a lot of weight. My people tell me my face has completely cleared up. I had a lot of marks on my face. I have a lot of energy. I'm flying all over the place, but I don't even feel what's going on. I feel really great. A lot of the people that I talk to have had tremendous results with the product. And of course, the money is awesome. And, it's a monthly, residual that's coming in with a weekly payout that is looking like exactly what I'm talking about in this conversation, which is a perpetual habitual income coming in every single month. because you do the work one time and you get paid for it over and over and over and over and over and over again because those people keep buying. And the more your team grows, the more people are in your team, the more people buy. So the more your check grows. That's basically what we're doing. And this is just going to get bigger and bigger. I remember, I keep saying to you, at one time I had 900,000 people in 11 countries. And it took us 4 years to do it. Right now, we've been here for 1 year and 8.5 months. So you can tell how excited I am because this thing is just going to continuously keep on growing. All I want for you is to actually wake up and smell the coffee, listen to what I said, take a lot of notes, and please get into some massive explosive action. Get out there and talk to everybody you know. Now, we have meetings on Wednesdays in English. Thursday is training. And then, of course, we have Creole, we have Spanish, we have, Tagalog, we have other languages that we're designing, including Portuguese. I know we have French for the people in France, and we have a lot of people that are tying into that as well through the company Vitalhealth in Mexico. We have people that are going to be now doing this in other countries as well in Africa. So you got to plug in. You got to get started. You got to get your people involved. You got to talk to the people. You got to share with them the testimonies. You got to share with them your experience. You got to share with them the fact that this can make you some money. In the beginning, it's not easy. We all know that. But while you actually get started and you get to work right away with all these questions with everybody they know, that's how fast they can get a check. Just like I told you, if the guy's looking for an extra job because he has a job, and he's looking for a second job, get to work with that person right away with all their lists, with all their contacts, with whoever they know, so they can start finding out right away who needs the product and then who needs to make some extra money. And when you do that, you're going to be aces. Now, this is actually our 5-step training. Okay, our 5-step training is very simple, and it isn't anything that you probably haven't seen before. But what we like to do is we just like to simplify it. We like to simplify it by keeping it in what's called the 5 steps, right? Which is basically you register and you activate and you qualify. We talked about that. We become a product of a product. And then, of course, step number 3, which is all of this that we just talked about, which is how to recruit and sell. We talked about this today. This was our focus today. And then, of course, last week, we actually had a big segment on how to get paid, which is the money. So the money is great. Okay, I'm not going to get into that right now. We did it last week. Our time is up. But the last thing that we always talk about is number 5, duplicate, because that's where the magic is. The more you can teach people what you're doing and you teach them to teach others, the bigger your money gets. You will make more money by teaching others and giving them all your information. You see, in this company or in this team, the easiest thing to do for you would be to tell everybody everything. In many companies, in many places, people keep it to themselves because selfishly, they don't want nobody to know what they know. Me, I want to tell you everything that I know because I want you to tell everybody else everything that you know because then they tell others what they know. Because the thing is this, it's called 3-level deep training. You teach this guy to teach this guy to teach a bunch of people. Then you teach this guy to teach this guy to teach a bunch of people. Then you teach this guy to teach this guy to teach a bunch of people. And then that's how you get huge in your organization. So number 5 is basically duplication. Keep it simple and duplicatable. Keep it easy so that everybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, and you will do it. Guys, I thank you very much. I know I took a little bit of extra time. I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you. I respect you. And I thank you guys for listening to all this. And I just want to say it's an exciting time for all of us. Soon you guys will see, the fruits to your labor. Soon you'll see exactly the growth in your teams. And all I ask is to just stay in action. Talk to people, invite them on Wednesdays or to any of the other meetings that are going on throughout the week. Get people involved. Get them involved as fast as you can so that you can start signing up as many people as possible. And of course, get out there and go visit some folks and take them some products and have them try it and just ask them all these questions that I just said today. So if anybody has any questions, we're going to go ahead and open up the call right now. If you have any questions, just turn off your mute button and ask away. So thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Any questions, please go ahead and ask. Benny,
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Did you have a question, sir? No.
Is No, my
Recording stopped.
my question will be, um, how do we? You talked about um, the recruiting
Yes,
part.
sir.
I'd like to hear that side again. That's you asked that question. Um, who do you know? That
Yes.
part really, really strong. Who
Yes.
do you know?
On the recruiting side of it, the who do you know, it's really, really important, just like it is also on the health and wellness side, because you're looking for people with illness to sell them the product. On the
Okay.
recruiting side, for people to do the business is who do you know that is sick and tired of being sick and tired and would just like to do something different? Who do you know that is looking for a change in a career or do something new? Who do you know that wants to get out of the rat race? Because a lot of people think they're in a rat race and they're just standing still and they're running though, but they're just standing still. They're not moving ahead, basically. Who do you know that is a housewife and is looking for an opportunity? Because that is the big one. A lot of housewives are looking for an opportunity because they don't have much to offer. They've been a housewife all their lives, and they don't think that they can do much because they haven't really gone to school. They've just been dealing with kids. But when you tell them this is something they can do even from home, it's another day for them. Of course, who do you know that is a husband who is looking for a side job or is looking for something that they can do as a side business so they can make some extra money? And then, of course, who do you know that is looking for a part-time job? Because there's people that have work, but they're looking for something to do on the side as a part-time job. That one actually makes a lot of difference. There's a lot of people that would like to have an extra job or something they can do on the side to make extra money, but those are the ones you want to attack right away and help them immediately because they need to see money tomorrow. And if you can show them, if they can visit two or three people, and if they can sell two, three packs in that week, and they happen to be the large pack, if they sell two or three of them, they just made $600-700. And if they did it in 1 week, they'd be like, whoa, wait a minute, why am I working? I'm making $700 selling three packs. I can do more. And then, of course, the last one, who do you know that's looking to get trained in a business mindset, right? Because a lot of people are just looking to get better at, thinking in a business mindset. And this is all we do every week. Every week we start pushing mindset, because we need to get into that mode of I want to be a business person. A lot of people are in the mode of being an employee. This is different than a job. This is now your own home-based business. But like I said in the beginning, because it is our own business, we tend to actually be too good to ourselves as a boss, and we don't push ourselves to get out there. All I'm saying is push yourselves, use these questions and get out there. Make appointments with all these questions to go be with the people, talk to them, sit with them, show them what's going on, show them how this pay plan works, put them on the phone with me, put them on the phone with Coach Marie, put them on the phone with Coach Alex, put them on the phone with, Sister Cecilia, all the other leaders, and then that person can make a decision to get started right away, and then get them on these presentations every Wednesday so they can actually bring their guests, talk to the people that they know, all that it gets you in action as well. So that's what the who do you know is good for, is to get you into action.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benny. Thank you very much. Okay, it says here, let me see. Someone wrote me, I know someone indirectly whose mom was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. That's what my sister had. What would be the approach health-wise and business without offending? Well, the biggest thing that I can say, nobody wants to offend anyone, and there is no offense in asking someone what they may be dealing with. But if you already know that the person is dealing with ovarian cancer, one of the things that you can do is basically be very, empathetic, and also understanding, one, of their time, and then two, of the condition. Because I got to tell you, I've been to people's houses when the persons are really, really sick and they have machines, or breathing machines, and they have walkers, And you can see on the pictures that they were a fully functional person at one time, but now they're in this state. And of course, they feel bad, but you get to feel bad too, because you're like, oh my God, this person was actually a runner, or this person was, a great person doing all this with their kids, and now they're in this state, right? So if you can put that into your mind that you're going to run across that, and make sure you don't look like you're surprised by it, but just look like you expected it, like you expected for this person to not be doing so well, but you have a solution. And that's the best way to not be, someone that's offensive when you go into a home. That's the one thing I tell everybody is walk in there expecting for there to be, some kind of an issue. And then once you do get your foot in the door, you want to just share from the heart. There's a company that has a product that truly does work with an owner that has actually designed some formulas that have made him very popular and famous in Mexico because his formulas truly do work. There's people that come to him from Europe, from Canada, from Australia, from the US, from Mexico. They come to him to get cured from cancer, tumors, and all the different major illnesses. And they stay in his area in hotels for weeks to get an appointment to see him 6 months into the future because that's how busy he is. But now he's designed this system in which he has the same products he gives to people, he gives them to all of us so that we can offer it to others. And it's all herbs, 100% all natural. And by the way, it's like eating a leaf of lettuce or a tomato. You can't go wrong. And if you're already dealing with this ovarian cancer, why not try it? That's exactly what I would say. And then on top of that, by the way, can you take a look at this video? Can you take a look at this video? Or can you can you listen to this person's testimony? And then, that should help you. We do have people in this team with testimonies of people that have had, major illnesses such as cancer that have gotten better. Some that have come from stage 4 to stage 2 to stage 1, some that it has disappeared. So both of these are actually good things. If you can share that with that person and it gives them obviously an idea of what to expect, it could be that if they use the product in the same way and they help themselves by being consistent, they could have the same, or if not, a better result. I hope that makes sense. Who asked this question? Mazariegos. Mazariegos. Does that answer your question? Mazariegos, are you on the line? There you are. Mazariegos. ¿Habla español o inglés? Sí le contesté. Did I answer your question, Mazariegos? Did. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I would do. It's actually, my sister died she had ovarian cancer. They took away her ovaries and then she got worse. But this is a long time ago. That's what she suffered from a long time ago. And then, of course, she got worse and then she passed away 4.5 years later. So I know what that illness is like and how the person gets in time. So you just have to be patient and also understanding. But know that, if they use these products, they could turn it around. They definitely could turn it around. I believe in that wholeheartedly. We have proof. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone else might have a question out there? Yes, no. Coach Marie, are you there? Coach. Okay. She's on, but she's probably busy. Very good. Very good. So if there is no other questions, I hope that this was
I'm on, I'm here. I'm hearing, I'm listening.
okay. I just wanted to say goodbye to you, Coach, because I'm leaving. I won't be back until next week.
Oh, I will be talking to you. I'll be talking to you.
Okay.
I needed some the information on what's going on, what's gonna be going on next week, so I can create a flyer
Yeah,
to send out to.
actually, we're putting one together right now. And I'm waiting on an answer from the people that I was introduced to. But yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk as soon as we're done.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. But thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Always